What's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to be bringing you another remake. This time I'm going to be showing you how to make the ever popular, highly requested Patrick Star. In the original video that I showed you how to make Patrick, it had no commentary and it was somewhat difficult to follow. So in this video I'm going to try and rectify those problems. And I will warn you a little word to the wise. Before you commit yourself to this, this is going to be one of the harder pieces of pixel art. Just warning you. If you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You will need black wool, light grey wool, white wool, red, pink, magenta, purple, lime green, and finally, dark green wool. We'll need a few more colours later on, but unfortunately we just don't have those 2 extra inventory spaces that we could really use. So once you've got all of those colours and once you've figured out where you want to make Patrick, I'm going to be making him right here. You're going to want to start this off with a row of 4 black wool in a row on the floor. That's 4 black wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you have your row of 4 black wool, and I'll give you a moment. I wish I had some elevator music. You're going to want to, once you have your row of 4, starting from the first block that you placed, do 2 up left diagonals with your red wool. So 1 and 2. Then, on top of the second up left diagonal, you want to go up by 1 with your magenta. Then, up by 1 with your dark green. There's a lot of colour swapping in this tutorial. Then, once you have placed your dark green, you want to do an up left diagonal. And then go up with your dark green by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, you want to go left by 1. And then up by 1. And then you want to take out your purple wool and go up by 1. And whilst we're here, as a matter of fact, you may as well go to the right of that purple with your red, and you won't really want to do anything else with that until a little later on, but it will help us mark things out a little better. So once you've placed your single red wool going right of that purple, you're going to want to take out your black wool and go left of that purple by 3. So 1, 2, 3. Let me just show you what you want to have in total, since that is a little mishmash of colours, although I'm not going to spend too long looking at it. That is what you want to have so far. Pause if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it's time for us to work our way up. So on top of our black wool, you're going to want to locate the second block, or the middle block, this one right here. You want to take out your red wool and you want to place 1 on top. Then you want to go left of that block by 2 with your red. So 1, 2. Then, on top of those last 2 red, these 2 right here, you want to place 2 red. 1, 2. Then, on top of this left red block here, you want to go up by 2. 1, 2. Then, you want to, from the top block of red that you've just placed, do an upright diagonal, and then place 1 on top. You then want to proceed by doing... Hang on guys, this is going to require a little bit of counting. You want to do 6 upright diagonals from that block that you just went up with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally 6. And then from that 6th upright diagonal, I'll give you a moment, you want to go to the right by 1. And whilst we're here, we may as well do this as well as doing what we were going to do originally. From that block that you've just placed going to the right, you're going to want to do 2 blocks underneath it, but also 2 blocks going up. Originally we were only going to do the 2 blocks going up, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a look at what we've just done. That is what you want to have done. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it is time for us to continue on. So coming up to the top of where we were, where we just went up by 2 with our red, from the top block you're going to want to go to the right by 1 with your purple wool. So 1. You then want to go up by 1 with your purple. You then want to take out your black wool and place 2 black going right of those 2 purple. So 2 black next to the 2 purple. You then want to, from the top black block, go to the right by 1. You then want to place free black wall on top of this little surface of free that we now have here, so like this. You then want to, continuing going left of this black block right here, just place one black going left. You then want to come back over to the right hand side of the same row, right here, and going right, you want to go to the right by 3, so 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I know this is a little confusing, but it's somewhat difficult for me to explain this stuff. Once you've went to the right by 3, you want to do 2 upright diagonals, so 1 and 2. Under the second upright diagonal, you want to go down by 3, so 1, 2, 3. You then want to do 2 bottom left diagonals, so 1 and 2. You then want to go left of that second bottom left diagonal by 3, so 1, 2, 3, which will give you Patrick's mouth. Now, whilst I understand that those instructions may have been a little shaky, I apologise, I don't have full mastery of the English language. That is what you want to have. It's not too difficult, hopefully you guys should manage to do that, despite my rocky instructions. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you're finished with that, it's time for us to move on to Patrick's eyes. So come over to the left hand side here where we have this single overhanging black. What you want to do on top of this single black is go up by 1 with your red, so 1. You then want to do an upright diagonal with your red. You then want to place a light grey on top of that red. You then want to do an up left diagonal with your light grey. Then go up by 4 with your light grey, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go to the right by 1. Then take out your red wool and do an upright diagonal. Place 1 on top and 1 to the right. From the right red, this one right here, do a bottom right diagonal, again with your red. Then do an upright diagonal. Go to the right by 1. Do a bottom right diagonal. Then take out your black wool and do another bottom right diagonal. Go down by 2 with your black. 1, 2. Take out your red wool and go down by 1. Then left by 1. Then do 2 bottom left diagonals. 1, 2. Then go left by 1. Then take out your magenta wool and go left 1 with that, and then left 1 with your red wool. And whilst we're here, we may as well place 1 on top of the magenta with your red as well, to give you something which should, in total, look exactly like that. Those are Patrick's eyes. They look kind of weird at the moment, but trust me, those will start to look a lot better once we get a little bit of detail in there. So pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it's time for us to continue on. So come up to the highest point of our Patrick, which is this red block right here. And on top of this red block, you want to go up by 1 with your black. So 1. Then take out your red and do an upright diagonal. Place 2 on top. 1, 2. Then do another upright diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do 2 upright diagonals. So 1 and 2. Then take out your magenta and do an upright diagonal. Then go to the right of that upright diagonal by 2 with your purple, so 1, 2. Then go down by 1 with your magenta. Then take out your purple and go to the right by 1. Then go down by 2, 1, 2. And that should give you something which should look exactly like that. We haven't done much, but I'm showing you this because we're going to be pausing whilst I go and wait for the sunlight, so I will be back in a moment. So this is the point that we reached before we cut off. Pause this if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we're now going to start building from the other side of Patrick. We're going to work our way back up again, this time up the right hand side. The reason that we're doing this isn't for any other practical reason than I want to maintain my sanity. I always prefer to build up rather than down, as I make far fewer mistakes. So coming back down to the row of 4 black that we started with, this time starting from the right hand side of our row of 4 black, you want to do 2 upright diagonals with your black, so 1 and 2. You then want to take out your red wall and do an upright diagonal. You then want to do 2 bottom right diagonals still with your red. 1 and 2. Then take out your black wall and do a single bottom right diagonal, which is basically just placing a block on the floor, and then go to the right of it by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. To give you something which should look like that. And I'll just give you a moment just in case you had to dive bomb to the bottom of Patrick, just as I did. Once you've done that, it's time for us to continue on. So coming back over to the row of what is now 5, starting from the right hand side, the 5th block, you want to do 3 upright diagonals with your black. So 1, 2, and 3. On top of the 3rd upright diagonal, you want to go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. Then go up by 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you want to go to the right of that 7th block by 1 with your red. Then go to the right by 1 with your magenta. Then 2 with your red. 1, 2. Then underneath the magenta and the 2 red, place 3 black wool, like so. Then to the right of this 2nd red wool here, place a black wool. And on top of it, place 3 black wool. 1, 2, 3. Then do an up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do another up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do... I apologise guys, I need to count again. Then do 6 up left diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As a matter of fact, I'll just show you what we've done as well. I was going to continue on, but let me just show you that little segment of arm right there. The next part of this will connect us back up to the top of the head. So that is what you want for that part right there. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you're finished with that, it's time for us to continue on. So come up to the 6th up left diagonal, this one right here, and go to the left of it by 1. Then go up by 1. Then do an up left diagonal. Go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do another up left diagonal. And go up by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then take out your red wool and go up on top of the 6th black by 2. So 1, 2. Then take out your purple wool and go up by 2. 1, 2. Place 2 magenta wool to the left of those 2 purple. Then take out your red wool and go up by 2 with your red on top of those magenta, which should connect you to the top of the head and give you something. Where did we finish off? We finished off there. And give you something which should look exactly like that. Perfect. So once you have reached this point right here, and as always, pause this if necessary if you're still working on any of that of course, you have completed what I think is the most difficult part of this pixel art, the outline. What I'm going to do now is just give you a nice broad view of what you want to have in total, the skeletal zombie-like outline of Patrick that really does look disturbing, just to give you guys a benchmark of what yours should look like at this point right here, which is exactly that. Once you're happy that you have exactly what you see on your screen, it's time for us to continue. So come down to the bottom of Patrick and come down to the left foot. And I'm just going to warn you, with the colouring in process, it's going to be somewhat difficult for me. A lot of this is extremely easy to do, but unfortunately, I just don't have the descriptive powers to describe it. So unfortunately, a lot of it is going to be exactly this. In the left foot, you're going to want to take out your red and magenta wool and do this. As you can see, that's extremely simple to do, but I don't know how to describe that without, taking about 10 minutes to do it. So a lot of this colouring in process is going to be that. I apologise. But that is exactly what you want to do to that left foot. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, you're going to want to do the exact same thing to the right foot. So coming over to the right hand side here, in the exact same positions more or less, you're just going to want to do the exact same thing with your red and magenta. So that. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it's time for us to go to work a little bit on the short. So come over to the left hand side of Patrick, and from this magenta wool that we have here sandwiched in between the red and the dark green, you're going to want to go right of this magenta with your dark green by 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which should connect to that red block right there. You then, on top of the 7th block, want to go up by 1, and then right by 1. And as a matter of fact, whilst we're here, the block that you just went up with, do an up-left diagonal from it, and then go to the left by 1. That's just a crease in Patrick's shorts. Once you've done that, you're going to want to continue going over to the right here. So from this block that you just went to the right with, you're going to want to pretty much bottom right diagonally of it, so from here, right here, going to from the right of this red, you just want to do a row of dark green which connects that red to the outline of Patrick. You don't really have to count that out, but according to my plans, that is a row of 9. I don't know if that's supposed to be helpful, but I wrote it down. So that is what you want to have for these shorts so far. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it's time for us to continue on a little bit. I'm kind of curious. Since we're on this right side, I think that we may as well just continue on from this right side. And unfortunately, we're going to be making a shape which is really hard to explain. But starting from this bottom right hand corner here, on top of this 9th dark green block, you want to do 3 purple going to the left. You then want to do 4 purple on top of those 3 purple plus that black wool. You then want to do 2 purple on top of these 2 right hand purple. Then go up by 3 on top of this right purple right here. 1, 2, 3. Then extend out to the left those top 2 purple. 1, 2. I'm not trying to be too descriptive here, to be quite honest with you, because I don't want this to take about 20 extra minutes. That's a very simple shape that I've just made. However, if I would have went into full detail trying to explain what I was doing, that'd take about half an hour. So that is what you want to do with your purple wool. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, I've just encountered a problem. We're going to need another colour. So what you can do for a little while is discard either your light grey or white. I'm going to discard them both for the fun of it. And you're going to want to take out your light blue wool. And once you've got your light blue, you're just going to want to do this. You're going to want to somewhat outline the little shape that you've made in purple. So you're just going to want to do something which should look exactly like that. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we're going to continue on with the shorts. So coming up to the top of our little purple shape here, and on top of the most right purple block, you're going to want to take out your dark green and go up by 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then go to the left by 1. Then take out your red and continue going left by 1. Then underneath that red, take out your dark green and go down by 1. Then left by 1. Then take out your magenta and go to the left by 2. 1, 2. Then take out your pink wool and go left of that magenta until you hit the other side of Patrick, which should connect with that red wool that we placed earlier and should look exactly like this. I told you that it was significant placing that red wool. Once you've done that, and pause that if necessary, of course, it's time for us to do the little bit of detail left in Patrick's shorts. So come over to the left hand side of Patrick, and underneath this red wool, right here, the one that we just connected the pink to, you're just going to want to do a light blue wool. And then go to the right of that light blue with your purple wool by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then take out your light blue and continue going to the right by 1, which should give you something that should look like that. So you have the 1 blue, 10 purple, 1 blue. So once you've done that, come back over to the left, and underneath the giant row of purple that you've just done, you're going to want to do this little sequence of blocks, starting from the left going to the right. You want to do 2 purple, 1, 2, then 1 light blue, 3 purple, 1, 2, 3, 2 light blue, 1, 2, then finally 2 purple. Like so. Once you've done that row, you're going to want to, again, coming back over to the left and starting from the most left-hand side, this dark green right here, you're going to want to go to the right with this little sequence of blocks. Do 2 light blue, 1 light green, 3 purple, 1, 2, 3, 2 light green, 1, 2, 2 light blue, 1, 2. To give you something which should look exactly like that. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we just have a couple of rows left, and luckily we don't have any long rows. So come underneath the 3 middle purple that we have right here, and starting from the left, you just want to do 1 light blue, 1 purple, 1 light blue. Then, once you've placed those 3 blocks, just place a light blue underneath that middle purple, which should connect to the dark green that we placed ever so slightly earlier. So that is what you want to have for that little section of Patrick's shorts. Pause that if necessary, of course. Let me show you what you want to have for this lower section in total, because all we have to do to finish this off now is just fill the shorts in with lime green wool and fill the feet in with pink, which is what we will be doing a little later on. So pause that if necessary, of course. Make sure that yours looks exactly like that. Once you're finished with that, it's time for us to work our way up to Patrick's midsection, and I think we will start on the left. So we're going to be taking care of this left arm first, and what you want to do to kick this off is going right of this red wool that we have here, these 3 red wool. You want to go right of this red by 1 with your magenta, then by 1 with your red, then on top of that red wool, you want to go up by 1 with your purple, then up 1 with your red, then up 1 with your purple, then up 1 with your magenta, then to the right by 1 with your purple, then up by 1 with your red, then go to the right of that red by 2 with your magenta, 1, 2, then underneath that second magenta, go down by 1 with your red, to give you something which should look exactly like that. Pause if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it's time for us to continue on. So coming back up to the top of where we just finished, on top of this red wool here, you just want to place a magenta. Then to the right of that magenta, place a red. Then go up by 1. Then place a magenta to the right of that red. Then go up by 1 with your red. Then go to the right by 1 with your magenta, which should give you something that should look exactly like that. Just to show you it in total, since it's not as big as I thought it'd be, I would have continued on and done the whole arm if I knew that it wasn't that long. So that is what you want for the entire middle part of the arm. That's the divide between Patrick's stomach and his outer arm. That'll be easier to see a little later on once we've got all of the pink involved, but pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we just have a little bit of magenta to add to the outer arm, the outline part. So take out your magenta and do this, and as a matter of fact, I'm just going to add in all of this magenta, and then I'm just going to show you the end result, because it's not difficult in the slightest, and it should be quite simple for you guys to see. So it should be quite obvious to see what I've just done there. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you're done with that, it's time for us to move over to the right. I was going to do Patrick's belly button and some of the markings that he has, but I think it'll be a little easier once we have the right arm done as well. So come over to the right of Patrick, and we will begin right here. On top of this red wool that we have next to the dark green, on top of this red wool, you want to do a single magenta. And then go to the right of that magenta by 1 with your red. Then go to the right by 1 with your purple. Then right by 1 with your red. Then right by 1 with your magenta. Then 1 with your pink. Then 1 with your magenta. Then finally 1 with your red, which should give you a little sequence of blocks that should look exactly like that. Once you've done that, it's time for us to come back over to here. So now, on top of the magenta, you're just going to want to place another magenta. And then go to the right of that by 1 with your purple. Then by 1 with your red. Then by 1 with your magenta. Which should look like that. Once you've done that, you're going to want to, again, come over to this left side, and on top of this magenta, place another magenta. Then go to the right of it by 1 with your red. Then go to the right by 1 with your magenta. Then, on top of this first magenta that we have here on the left, place a red wall. Then to the right of that, place a magenta. Then, up left diagonally from this single red wall right here, you want to do 2 purple. 1, 2. Then, continuing doing up left diagonals, you want to, from the second purple, do 2 up left diagonals with your magenta. So 1 and 2. To give you something that should look exactly like that. And again, that is just the separation between Patrick's midsection and Patrick's arm. So once you've done that, and pause that if necessary of course, I think it's time for us to move on to this right arm. So come over to the right hand side of Patrick, and you want to begin on top of this red block that we have right here, and you're going to want to kick this off by placing a single magenta on top of this red. Then place a purple on top of the magenta. Then do an up left diagonal with your magenta, which is basically just placing a block right here. Then place a red on top of the magenta. Then do an up left diagonal with your magenta. Just place a block right there. Then place a red on top of the magenta. Then go to the left of your red with your magenta. And go up with your purple. Then go to the left with your magenta. Then up with your purple. Then go to the left with your magenta. Then up with your purple. Then to the left with your magenta. Then up with your red. Then to the left with your magenta. Then up with your purple. Then to the left with your magenta. Then do an up left diagonal with your magenta. Then go up by 1 with your red. Then go to the left by 1 with your magenta. Then go up by 1 with your magenta. Then take out your red and go up by 2. 1, 2. Then go to the left of that second red by 1 with your magenta, and then by 1 with your red. And you know what, I'll just show you what you want to have so far, since that was quite a long string of instructions. How can I get all of this in? You know what, it's not too bad since we have some nice bright colours. It's quite easy to tell what's been done, I feel. So that is what you want to have for that right arm. I did contemplate just doing it and then showing you guys the end result. However, you have that option right here if you want it. So that is what you want to have so far for that right arm. I figure that we may as well continue the line that we've been going up. I think that we may as well add some detail to the head, and then we'll mess about with the torso and the face. So pause that if necessary, of course. Once you're happy that you've got that, you're going to want to go back up to where we finished off. So let's continue from where we finished. So on top of this left red that we have here, you're going to want to place a magenta, and on top of this magenta that we have on the right here, you're just going to want to place a pink. And then on top of that pink, place a magenta. Then on top of the magenta, place 2 purple. 1, 2. Then on top of the purple, place 2 red. 1, 2. Then on top of the red, finish this off by placing a single magenta, to give you something which should look exactly like that. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you finish doing that, all we have to do really is add in some details around the face and the head. We're not going to do anything too drastic just yet, so what shall we do first? Let's mess about with the mouth, shall we? So, in the mouth there exists a little bit of red in this position right here. So that is all of the red that exists in Patrick's mouth. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, you're going to want to move your way up to the tippy top of Patrick's head. And first things first, we're just going to place this single magenta wall in this position right here. I can't really give you better instructions than just showing you. Once you've placed that, you're then going to want to, on top of this red block right here, and I'll give you a moment to locate that. On top of this red block right here, you want to go up by 2 with your pink, so 1, 2. You then want to go up by 1 with your black, then up by 1 with your red, then go to the left by 1 with your red, Then, on top of this right red that we have here, you want to go up further by 3 with your pink. So 1, 2, 3. Then, go to the right of that third pink by 1 with your purple. Then, well, actually, we've just finished. I was going to then place this single magenta here, but we've already done that. So, this is what you want for the little bit of detail that we have just added to the upper part of Patrick's head. Pause out if necessary, of course. Once you're finished with that, we're just going to do the little bit of detail that exists on the torso, then the eyes, and then we've just got a lot of colour to add, and then we'll be finished. Good news for everybody. So, where will we begin? We will begin with the belly button, I feel. So, come up to the bottom of Patrick's mouth, this row of 4 black right here, and starting with the most left black, go underneath this black by 3 with your pink wall. So 1, 2, 3. Then do 1 going down with your magenta. Then go down by 1 with your red. Then take out your pink and go down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go down by 1 with your magenta. And go down by 1 with your black. And then go to the left of that black by 1 with your magenta. And go underneath the black by 1 with your purple to give you something which should look exactly like that. And that is just a little speckle of colour on Patrick, and the bottom part of that, which kind of looks like half of a flower head, is his belly button. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we just have one, actually we have a couple of more flecks to add. I missed a part over on the right hand side of the arm. So what you want to do is find this light blue here, the single light blue, and in the same line, going up on top of the pink that is on top of the light blue, you want to go up by 5 with your pink wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go up by 1 with your red. Then up by 1 with your magenta. And that is the other fleck of colour that I was talking about that exists in Patrick. And just to show you the light blue underneath as well. Very easy. Pause that if necessary, of course. And the last little abstract bit of colour that exists on Patrick, we'll do this before the light fades away. Come over to the right arm here. And from this magenta right here that exists next to this single red, go to the right of this magenta by 2 with your pink. So 1, 2. Then do a single purple wall to give you something which should look exactly like that. So pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, you've pretty much finished this pick slot. I'm going to cut out here, and then we'll be back to do the eyes, and then we've just got a lot of colouring in to do. So I figured that I'd show you guys what you want to have for Patrick's torso in its entirety before we moved on. So there you have it. That is exactly what you want to have. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you're finished with that, it's time for us to move up to Patrick's eyes. And you know what? We're going to need some new colours. So discard your light blue and red wool, we don't need it anymore. And take back out your white wool and light grey. And also grab yourself some sandstone block. And unfortunately, looking at this, I think that we're just going to be better off if I do this little section and then show you guys the end result. I don't see anything good happening if I try to go into explainer mode. I have a feeling that it's going to end really badly, and it is actually quite simple what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I've just finished it. So this is what you want to do to Patrick's little eyes here. Very simple indeed. A little bit of sandstone, and then you just want to do Patrick's pupils. Hopefully you guys can see easy enough what I've done there. Copy that, pause that if necessary, of course, and once you finish that, well, I've got some extremely good news for you. Once you finish doing that little section right there, all we have to do now to finish off our Patrick star is just colour in 3 little sections. Well, there's more than 3 actually because of how it splits up, but this is what you want to do. You want to fill the shorts in entirely with lime green wool. You want to fill the body and the head and feet and arms and all of that in with pink wool, and you just want to fill in the eyes with white wool, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will be back once I've done all of those things. It's going to take me quite a while. So I have literally just finished filling in Patrick. It wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. I thought it would take a lot longer than it actually did. And just to reiterate what I've done there, if it isn't blindingly obvious, I've filled in the eyes in with white wool, the shorts in with lime green, and then everywhere else in with pink wool. And if you guys have managed to follow the video this far, if I've done my job, you should end up with something that should look exactly like this, and I hope you have. This is the end of the video. The tutorial is officially over. There is nothing more for me to show you. Hopefully you guys managed to find this easy enough to follow. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.